Welcome to The Explainer. So, the EU's got this massive new plan to make AI safer, and a huge piece of it really comes down to one critical and kind of complicated rule Article 41. So, today, we're going to break it all down. All right, so here's the plan. We're going to start with a pretty big problem in how we regulate technology. Then, we'll introduce Article 41 as the answer. We'll dive into the nitty-gritty of how it works, look at the checks and balances, and then finally explore why this is all so important for the future of AI. Okay, let's dive right in. Okay, so before we can really get what Article 41 is all about, we got to take a step back and look at how things are supposed to work when the EU regulates new tech. Think about something as simple as the electrical outlets in your house. The reason any plug you have fits into any socket is because of a harmonized standard. The entire industry got together and agreed on one design so everything works together safely. And that's the dream for AI, right? One universal rulebook, built by experts that makes sure everything is safe. This is the bedrock of EU regulation. But, let's be real. AI is moving at just an incredible pace, right? Lightning speed. So what happens when a powerful new AI system hits the market before anyone's even had a chance to write the safety manual? Well, that creates a really dangerous standardization gap. It means high-risk AI could be out there in the wild with basically no rulebook. And that's a huge problem for all of us.
And that's exactly the problem that Article 41 is designed to solve. It's the safety net.
This is where common specifications come into play. Think of them like those temporary orange barriers you see at a construction site. They're not the permanent steel-reinforced fence, but man, they go up fast to stop you from falling into a hole. They are a temporary, flexible fix to make sure there's always a baseline of protection. Yeah, this slide really breaks it down perfectly. On one hand, you've got the harmonized standards. They're kind of like the slow, steady, gold standard built by everyone to last forever. And on the other, you have the fast, responsive common specifications that the EU Commission can roll out to plug a dangerous hole right now. It's a fortress versus a temporary shield. Okay, so how does this whole thing actually get started? What pulls the trigger on this safety net? Let's get into the mechanics. Right, so the Commission can't just invent these rules whenever they feel like it. They can only pull this emergency lever under some very specific conditions. It only happens when the normal process kind of falls apart. Maybe the request for a standard gets flat out rejected, or it's just taking forever. Or, and this one is huge, an existing standard just isn't cutting it when it comes to protecting our fundamental rights. The bottom line? This is absolutely a last resort. It's not their go-to move. And this process map, it really shows you the whole journey from start to finish. It kicks off when the AI office spots a danger zone. If the standard process fails, they don't just act alone. They bring in the advisory forum. That's a whole group of experts from industry, academia, civil society, you name it. Only then can they draft the rule. And look at that last step, repeal. This is so key. It means the temporary rule has a built-in self-destruct button, essentially. The moment the proper, permanent standard is ready, this one disappears. This is so important. Article 41 is not just a blank check for the Commission to do whatever it wants. No way. There are some really powerful guardrails built right in. And you can see that right here. The European Parliament really dug in its heels on this point. They made it absolutely clear that protecting our fundamental rights, things like our privacy or the right to not be discriminated against, has to be the main event. It means they can't just slap on a rights-friendly sticker. They have to prove how they're specifically protecting our rights. It has to be the core reason for the rule. And check this out. This is how they keep things balanced. First up, you've got flexibility for companies. This is huge. It means if a company comes up with a different way to do something, as long as they can prove it's just as safe, they can go for it. That keeps innovation moving. And second, there's a challenge mechanism. Any EU country can look at one of these rules and say, hey, wait a minute, this isn't good enough, and that forces the Commission to go back and review it. It's a real check on their power. Okay, so let's pull back from the details for a second. What does all of this mean in the grand scheme of things? Why should we care? At its heart, Article 41 is trying to solve that classic tech dilemma. How in the world do you regulate something that's moving faster than the speed of law? But here's the crucial part. It ensures that from day one, from the moment these new AI products hit the market, there's a baseline of safety and respect for our rights. It's really the EU's attempt to have its cake and eat it too. Get that amazing innovation out there quickly, but do it without sacrificing our safety. At the end of the day, what this all comes down to is pragmatism. It's a recognition that in the crazy fast world of AI, if you wait around for the perfect all-in-one rulebook, you might be waiting way too long. It's a way of saying, hey, let's not let the search for a perfect solution get in the way of a good one that can protect people right now. So, Article 41 is a fascinating answer to a really tough problem, but it really leaves us with this big, lingering question. As this technology evolves faster than we can even imagine, how do we make sure our most important human values are always baked right into the code? Something to think about. Thanks for joining this explainer.